All in, so I think it's a time change thing. But I'm so glad you did. I was just talking about you, Patricia, and how absolutely cool you are. And you know what? I think you were really the perfect person that people could find. To find you as an entertainer, a people person, a positive energy person on a cruise lines. And you kind of had a last minute opportunity. I think that was back in, was it the end of January, the beginning of February, you were asked to do a cruise?
Yeah, 15th of January, they needed me right away, so they flew me to Miami, and it was great. It was fantastic.
Well, and tell me about which cruise that was and where you went.
That was Norwegian Bliss, which is their new ship, and spectacular. The 15th deck has 180-degree visual. It was built for seeing Alaska, and my piano was right in the middle, so I did the night shows. But we started in Miami, and we went to St. Thomas. We went to British Virgin Islands, and then on to Nassau with a couple of days at sea. And that was just a repeat of that over and over again. It was mostly about the ship.
Well, I saw some great pictures, and it looked like maybe you went places that you hadn't been before. I saw some names of places I had never heard of before.
Well, I got to Virgin Gorda, which was great. I kept in touch with Lydia because Lydia, who I sang with, who is in Maui, she had sailed all through there for years, and so I asked her if I should go to Gorda from the bridge, and she said, "Oh yes, that's absolutely amazing," and it was totally incredible. And then St. Thomas, different parts of St. Thomas, it's good. It's recovering from the hurricane quite well. The other one, the British Virgin Islands, Tortola, was still under a lot of work, I found.
Really? After all these, it's been a year and a half?
Yeah, but the United States brought in their money, but I don't know if Britain did.
Oh, really? Really? I hadn't heard about
that. But they're coming along. The people are happy, and they're just so beautifully adjusted,
Well, tell me about what you're doing on board the ship and what kind of gigs you're doing. I know you do sometimes the lounge bar, but where are you entertaining on board the ship?
Different places. This one, I do the captain's party first of all.
Oh,
and,
nice.
That's for groups called Latitudes, which people who have sailed many, many times. We had one fella and his friend that had sailed over 1,000 times with Norwegian. And so these people, then they, I invite them to where I play, and they all come out, and I do a lot of sing-alongs and things like that. But this observation deck on the Bliss was incredible. My next ship on the Pearl, I'll be, I think it's deck 7 or deck 8. It has its own stage and piano that's in there. And then sometimes I play in the atrium just for special occasions, like on the ship last year when they had the World Cup. Played for that and played for the royal wedding, things like that were amazing.
Wow, that is really, really great. So how many people were on the ship that you just did the cruise with?
6,000.
Oh, that's too big. I mean, no. Tell me how you deal with it, really, because I like smaller ships, and 3,000 seems big, but 6,000, I can't even imagine.
3,000 is big, but the 6,000 is that's with crew, of course.
Oh, okay.
We had 1,700 crew on this ship.
Oh, that's big, yeah.
And really beautiful. You love it. I mean, it's big. There's lots to do. You're never bored.
Yeah, I bet. Is it like a Disneyland kind of feeling? Is it like all these different? No.
Not really. It's like a very clean Vegas.
Oh.
You're not going to find homeless people on deck 8. It's like, but you've got the casinos, and you've got and people. They dress whatever they want. Some people are in gowns, and some people are in cut-off shorts.
Wow.
Some people are walking around in their bathing suits. They're just so happy to get away from the cold. Because I'm back here in the cold in Canada right now.
Yeah. What city? Where do you live in Canada right now?
I'm in Sudbury, Ontario. It's 250 miles north of Toronto. And we have so much snow, Cindy. It's the worst winter for snow. I'm looking out my window, and it's got to be 10 feet high.
Really? So, oh, my gosh.
It's
wow.
really incredible.
Oh, my gosh. And spring is just a week away.
I love it right now.
Oh,
if you're listening, you'd love this.
I kind of love snow, but 10 feet, I can't imagine. So when it gets to that point, do you have someone to clear the walkways and get in your car, or are you just going to stay at home, or what?
Oh yes, I've got a neighbor that takes care of all that. But I do have a guy coming tomorrow to clear the snow off the roof so the roofs don't collapse.
Wow,
And,
that's right.
Yeah, they're so busy. They can't. They just. I mean, it's incredible. It's fun though because I only get to do this for a month and then I go back out again. So it's not like I've had 5 or 6 months of it.
Yeah,
like most people. So.
Well, tell me about. Okay, the next one you're going on is how many days? How many weeks? How long?
I'm going to do. This is my longest cruise that I took. It's 5 months. And the reason I'm doing the extra month is because Bon Jovi's coming on to do a charter. The whole last month of August is charters. And so it's Bon Jovi. It's, who's another one? Joe Bonamassa with Peter Frampton. They're doing a blues cruise with other blues players. Then there's Stars from the Emirates, which should be interesting. All these Arabs are coming. They're going to do 4 days to Sardinia, 2 days out of Barcelona to Sardinia and back. And then there's one called something in Sebastian. I don't remember the name. Great Adventure, Bodhi Adventure. And I looked it up. I was trying to think, what the heck is it? It's all bands from the UK.
How fun!
Are chartering it. So that's the music. The other amazing part I like about it is this one is actually going to St. Petersburg, where I've never been. Have you been there?
Oh yes, I went on Seabourn. And I like the Seabourn because that is a tiny ship compared to the ship you're on.
Small ship.
Yeah, it was around, I think that one was 600 passengers. And that actually was able to dock right in St. Petersburg, but on the big cruise liners can't get in there right at the dock in St. Petersburg. You have to dock outside and take a bus up. But, of course, it was like, how many days there? 4 days. And through 2.5 of the days just went to the Hermitage. And that is the most amazing museum in the world. It is mind-blowing. You can't even quite imagine what they've got in there. But, I mean, in my memory, I remember some of the great classic pieces. But they have these huge, made out of everything from lapis lazuli. You can imagine that the height, like 5'7". They were actually as tall, and if not taller than me. These huge jars, I don't know what to call them, but they're these huge urns made out of lapis, made out of malachite, all these different ones that are massive. They have the most amazing collection of masters, and European masters and others. And it's so big, you cannot see it in a day. It's impossible. So I hope you have a few days there.
I think it's a 3 day. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it is. I'm hoping it is anyway. I'm just so excited because it's one of those places I've always wanted to go. And when they told me it was on this cruise, I went, well, this is genius. I'm so happy.
Well, and it's good to do a cruise because what's happened is Russia, not the only ones, but they've raised their fees for visas and made it more difficult to get in. But, of course, if you're on a ship, a boat, you can get in. It's a ship, not a boat. Right? And you get a ship and a cruiser, they take care of all that for you. So it saves you the hassle of having to try to get a visa. If you were to
I feel so spoiled when I'm doing this because they do. They take care of everything. It's just unbelievable.
And if you get a chance, do go out and see some of the palaces. There's
to see the what?
The palaces in St. Petersburg.
Oh, the palaces. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Frederick the Great's palace and some of the others are really amazing. And I was there, unfortunately. It was pouring rain for, I think, almost 3 of the days. But it was kind of cool when we got off the Seabourn right there in the dock in St. Petersburg. There was this wonderful classical pianist. He was definitely professional. And you would appreciate his musician playing the American anthem.
For goodness sake.
Yeah, I mean, so like obviously trying to create bridges, right? And it was very nice. And I have to say, very easy getting in. You literally just walked off the ramp, heard this wonderful violinist playing the American anthem. You walked under a covered tent, and everyone just stamped it. You didn't have to anything. You got your it's stamped in, in and out like 2 minutes, right? So no hassle. Obviously, they like the American money, and they need it, I think, right now in Russia. But, we have images of Russia, but I did. But I have to say, St. Petersburg is such a beautiful city, Patricia. I mean...
Well, I've been hearing about it for years. When I did the Japanese ship, Asuka, which is, they say, the richest cruise ship in the world, all the crew that went, they did they do the world tour, which is 120 days, 130 days around the world. and they said their favorite place to even party at night was St. Petersburg. They had just had such a great time. So I've been really looking forward to it. Plus, I'm such a history buff, you know.
There's amazing history.
It's kind of my adventure in life now.
Amazing.
That I'm getting older. I really love the history.
Well, you know what? Being a cruiser, and you know, like you are, history is just amazing, and it feels very palpable there. You can go to the church. I know you love the Catholic Church. There's a Catholic church called the Blood of something, I forget, where actually someone was killed right there on the steps. And it's one of those ones with all the amazingly colorful turrets and very, very beautiful Catholic churches. And, I mean, amazing.
I'm writing that down. I'll check it out, Church of the Blood of something.
Something, okay. Yeah, the Blood of the Martyrs or something. It was right at the bridge where the one of the guys was killed right there. Yeah, can you hear me okay? I can hear you fine. Yeah, I hear you fine. So definitely check out the churches. There's amazing. Oops, I think I just lost you. She's gonna have to call in. That was Skype acting up. Not as much as Facebook was acting up today, which Facebook and Instagram and everything totally went through a major crash. I don't know what caused that, but I don't know. It affected. There, she's calling back. I got you now. A little Skype issue.
Network lost. It said.
Well, I was just mentioning not as bad as what happened with Facebook today, and of course that affected.
What happened to Facebook today?
Oh, they did a major crash, and that of course affected Instagram and messages and everything else. And I think that's what happened to my first guest. I don't think he could get the messages because you know, a lot of people use Facebook Messenger, but we'll hear about what happened on that. But they did. And speaking of crashes,
Lord knows what they're cooking up now.
Oh, I don't know. But speaking of crashes, were you? Obviously, there's a huge issue because Canada was the first one today to say no more of these 737 MAX 8s to fly. And then, of course, we came on second. And so now no one's flying these flights. Yeah. You travel a lot, and you count on this. When you make plans, I mean, this is going to affect a lot of people's plans for travel.
Well, you know, actually, when I go to Maui, of course, I make my own plans. When I go to Vancouver, see Adam and the kids, I do, and also Las Vegas. But other than that, the plans are all made for me. I don't do anything. I don't even bring a microphone to my gig. I just
Seriously? Wow.
I'm so lucky. No, seriously, I got to pack clothes. I usually pack too much because I never know what to bring. Oh, yeah, the first week of my cruise is Melissa Etheridge, and she's doing
I love her.
She's got 20 other recording artist women with her. So it's going to be, and I'm in the sing-along room, so I'm hoping they're all going to come in. They probably will.
Oh, would it be cool for you to play with
Beatles and Eagles and Carole King and, you know.
How cool would that be to sing with Melissa Etheridge?
It'll be fun to sing with all of them. I was thinking Bon Jovi myself.
So now the cruise that you're talking about, is that it's charged? Someone buys the boat out and does this like women's cruise, and someone buys the boat out and does the blues cruise?
Is that what literally charter the boat. I think there are still rooms available because I know friends of mine have booked on the Bon Jovi last week out of Vegas.
Wow!
And so a lot, but you pay more, and it's only for the time period that they're on. So I think he's doing a 5-day. He's doing 4 nights and 5 days. From Barcelona to Mallorca.
Fun.
And, so that's, but, you know, it's just something, for me it's something different because I've done so many cruises.
Yeah.
It's nice to have something, you know,
we're great musicians, and people say the musicians are much more friendly and affable. And I know I was talking with Dave Mason, and he was doing a blues cruise back in February. And he was doing it with some of the one of the other guys was, I don't know, a couple of really good groups. And he says he stays in his room, but I know his wife goes out and mingles. But he says he kind of gets a little feeling like he's easily a target for people wanting to come up and talk all the time. So I guess if you're the kind of musician who doesn't mind it, it's fine. But when they do their talks at their performances, I guess they take questions and answers, I've heard as well, which would be very cool.
Well, a lot of them doing it, like apparently Bon Jovi wants to do it because not only is he playing with his band, with the fans and everything, and it's a new thing, but what happens is in the theater, they get to talk about the songs they wrote and do that whole thing. I mean, I do that as my show. I tell stories and talk about songs or people I've worked with or people I know, you know. Mm-hmm. But for these guys, they never get a chance to do that because they always are, you know, paid to play their hits with the band.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely.
That was his main reason. He said he wanted to do that. I thought that was very cool.
I think it's very, very cool. Now, have you been to Mallorca before?
Oh, many times. I sat behind. In fact, it's Lent right now, and every Lent I quit drinking. All my wino friends out there. But it was Easter Sunday 2 years ago, and I ended up in Mallorca, and I ran to go to Mass at the cathedral.
That's
beautiful.
There, right? I love that cathedral, and actually there's artwork there.
It's a gaudy cathedral.
Yes,
it's so gorgeous. And I ended up sitting right behind the royal family from Spain. The king was there, and the whole family. And as people kept leaving, I kept moving up because they were there to take their pictures more than anything.
Yeah.
And then as they were leaving, next thing I knew, I had the whole pew to myself, behind. I wanted to tap them on the shoulder and say, "You could sit here. You guys are all crammed in." But
there's a little nave that's a Salvador Dali painted area that's in there. Make sure you check that out if you haven't before. But I love Mallorca. I have a couple friends living there.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Send me a number. I'll call them.
Yeah, absolutely. Robin Johnson, her husband used to do music here on Maui. He did Cafe Cody, and she moved there, and he passed away. They lived up in Dea, which is right in the center of Mallorca, up there in the hills. Wow. Okay. Magical place with a lot of famous writers that live up there in the hills. And then she just recently, I guess 2 years ago, moved down to Palma de Mallorca, the major city down there.
Yeah, that's basically where the cathedral and everything is there.
Yeah.
But it's, how nice. No, that's one of my favorite places.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful, absolutely. Now, since I haven't had the other guest for some reason calling, I don't know if it's time difference or what, but it gives me more time to talk to you, which I wanted to talk to you about your exciting, unbelievable adventure at the Academy Awards. Now, start with how you were able to work it out, because you were doing your cruises, and I thought, well, gosh, I guess she's going to miss her opportunity to be at the Academy Awards. So tell us the whole story about that.
Well, it just timed it. It timed it that I finished the week before that I was home, and I had to be down for the party. So my cousin runs the parties for the governor. She's been doing the governor's ball for 30 years. It was her 30th anniversary, her company. So every year I'm working or something, and one year I went and worked with her, but this year to go as a guest was absolutely incredible, and I made it. You know, I got down for her party the night before to show off all the stuff at the governor's ball, and then ended up sitting second seat from the front of the stage.
I saw your picture. How did you get to be in that? You couldn't even buy tickets like that. How did you arrange that?
I went to church and prayed. What do you want me to say? You know, am I talking to you or am I talking to the masses, you know? Speaking of masses. Horseshoes. I don't know. Just, it's just, I met so many people. I mean, it was unbelievable. I was 10 feet away from Bradley Cooper, and then he walked right by me and shook my hand and talked, and it's like, and sitting, and when Barbara Streisand so close, Bette Midler singing in front of me, Julia Roberts was right in front of my face. Almost, and then behind me, my favorite, Viggo Mortensen. Viggo.
I love Viggo.
Oh my gosh, what a doll!
Yes,
and his he was in Lord of the Rings, and
he was in Green Book.
In the movie Green Book.
Yeah, he was there. So I mean, you were in prime seats. So were you a seat filler? They call someone to fill a seat for someone who can't make it.
No, they don't do that. They do. No, I was a guest. Yeah.
Wow.
They have it's special guests, and I got to sit what's called in the hot seat. So
I bet. I mean, that's a miracle. That's amazing. I saw pictures of you. I couldn't believe it.
Well,
Okay.
You know miracles.
Oh, I know miracles.
You're in the miracle realm.
But, I mean, when I go to the Grammys or anything like that, it's always like this thing, oh, my gosh, what am I going to wear? Because you're surrounded by women wearing $10,000, $20,000 dresses, $1 million pieces of jewelry. I mean, did you see Lady Gaga's necklace?
Oh my gosh, I know, she was right there. I mean, I could have, anyway, she was in spitting distance.
Yeah.
When they did their show, I mean, seriously, that was so wonderful.
Yes.
And they did their song together, and sitting right there, that was the highlight of the whole show.
I just saw the movie A Star is Born. I saw it on DVD at home. But I actually loved it. Some people didn't like it that much, but I thought she did a great job singing.
I thought they both did a great job.
Yes, they both did,
For her not being really an actress and him not being a singer, I thought it was just really wonderful,
Yeah, she was very, very happy to get the award, but in other ways, that was the only award the movie got. And she gave a very powerful speech, of course,
Yes, she did.
And I have to say, I saw her performance in that sequin pantsuit, but her shoes, I looked at those shoes and I thought, how in the world can you even move? Her heels were like 10 inches and it was platform.
Yeah, 7 inches high, those heels. They're ridiculous, and the thing on them, but you know, that's what they do. that's what they. The taller you are on stage, that's what they always say for the dress. You know.
I mean, what did you decide to wear? How did you decide when you have to get?
Oh, okay. Well, now that's funny because when you talk about I had no time,
yeah,
I seriously had no time.
Yeah.
So I borrowed a dress from a friend of mine in Sudbury for the party the night before, and then I brought a backup dress that I had bought in Australia years ago, just a plain long velvet, very plain. And I had another kind of a little top to go over it. I brought that as a backup. And when I got to L.A., I was exhausted. So I didn't go shopping. I just said, the heck with it, I'm wearing the backup. And it was perfect. I went and did hair and makeup instead, you know.
Your hair and makeup look great.
On that. You got to do that.
Yeah, you got to do that. Eyelashes, eyelashes, right?
Oh, my gosh, yeah, and so much fun. I mean, seriously. It really, that part's fun. And then my cousin had all her hair and makeup people upstairs in the hotel after, because I had a room at the hotel, and then the next night for the Academy Awards, we were all up there getting hair and makeup redone, and it was really great. It was just fun. We were all laughing our heads off.
And then you got to go to some after parties.
Well, I went, no, not that night. I went to the party the night before.
Oh, okay, because I saw pictures.
I didn't get to go to the governor's ball this time.
Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, I did the last one where I took care of Oprah Winfrey's table, and there was Oprah.
What do you mean you took care of Oprah Winfrey's table?
Well, I was working with my cousin, and they put me in charge of the tables. You know, so all the waiters worked under me, and I had a little headpiece in. And this wasn't this year; this was ages ago. And so my table was Angela Bassett, Oprah Winfrey, Ozzy Osbourne. I'm trying to think who else was there. Steven Spielberg. It was hilarious because all these people were bombarding the table, and we have to let the security know that there's problems, you know, and so I'm really incognito. I'm going, hey, this could check out this tip, you know, come over. Found out they weren't going after Oprah Winfrey; they were all going after Ozzy Osbourne.
No, my God,
isn't that funny? But you know, one thing that's amazing is Angela Bassett. She was at my table back then, and I was living in Hawaii then. That's how long ago it was, in Maui, and before I moved to Vegas. And Angela Bassett looked just the same as this year as she did then.
She
looked
great.
Amazing then.
She looked great.
Amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know which she's doing, whatever blood transfusion I want to do one.
Amazing. I just watched the Aretha Franklin Grammy tribute on Sunday. And
how was it?
It was Angela Bassett was there. It was amazing. It was amazing. I have to say, I wasn't sure. I went to the Elton John one in New York a year ago when they did the Grammys there, and it was like, you know. But I have to say, this one topped it off because they actually did have clips from Aretha from her life, and it was really a tribute as well as just music. So it was great. It was really, I was super impressed with the way they handled it, and the singers were amazing. So, yeah, I mean, although, you know, I mean, it was, I mean, how can you go wrong when you're doing, I mean, but at the same time, you look at the audience, and you don't want to go wrong. The pressure to perform with all of those people, including Clive, who was in the front row, and so you can't mess up, right? The pressure has to be on when you're singing Aretha Franklin's song, right?
Yeah, well, it was like Adam Lambert doing Queen, you know. It's
yeah.
He was okay, but you know, he could have really gave it a lot more. I know what Adam Lambert's capable of, and he could have really given it, you know. But it was good.
Yeah.
It was really good.
Well, I thought the tribute was good.
I met Rami, the guy.
Oh, you get to meet him where?
Oh my gosh! Right when he was, they were all walking out in front of me, and he shook my hand. So did Spike Lee. And they were almost getting in a little fight.
So how did you? Why were they almost getting in a fight? Because of what Spike Lee was doing?
No, there was. I'll tell you when we're together.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
But it was just stuff that was going on. But Rami was a real sweetheart.
He looks like it.
Sweetheart, you know.
He looks like it. Was he right there in the front row? Was he close by?
Yeah. Well, he was just over. I was in the next area, and but I was in the second row. But so second row was equal with the front row, so he was right there. And then, you know, who was really funny too was behind me was the one who won for the Queen, Olivia.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh, she was hilarious. She and her husband were sitting behind me. They were just so funny. And then she did her acceptance speech. But speaking of talent, I want to tell you this. I met a fellow on one of my trips who's the he runs the music school or the music department for musicals at universities, not UCLA. It's
USC.
California State University, CSU.
Oh, okay.
Fullerton, and it's the biggest musical school in California.
Huh.
And I met him on the ship, and we kept in touch. I gave him my soulmate stuff.
Uh-huh.
Then he came to Maui and said, "I'm coming to Maui." We went out for dinner a couple of times, and he said that he wanted me to do some master workshops when I went to LA.
Uh-huh.
And so the day after the awards, I went and did these master classes with 24 of his students that are unbelievable. And they learned 7 of the songs from Soulmates. They acted out some parts. So we did 2 of these classes, and amazing. So I think it's time for Soulmates to resurge.
I think so, too.
I'm feeling it.
For those that are listening that don't know what Patricia's talking about, she did this amazing musical, Soulmates. How many years ago did that first come out? 10 years? Oh, we lost her again. Oh, Skype. What can I say? But this great musical she created, Soulmates. It did get performed here in Maui, and she took it. It was on Broadway, and it was just wonderful to see. And of course, got a lot of. I'm talking about the history of Soulmates filling while you. so it went to besides being here. You got in. Did you go to New York?
To travel now? Is that your thing?
Yeah. I'm addicted to travel. But anyway, you were talking about Soulmates, and I'm so glad you got to do this class. I think there's a lot of energy behind doing that as well. And you know what? I mean, there's so many people now that with this resurgence of what's going on in Broadway and how many famous musicians now have Broadway shows. They don't always sing in them all, but of course Bruce did. But you know what? There's the Carole King Broadway show. There's the Jimmy Buffett has one, and then I heard there was going to be another one starting up too. I forget who it was, but I mean, there's certainly a lot of great music-oriented Broadway shows happening now. So yeah, I'd love to see Soulmates happening again.
Oh, me too. Me too.
I wanted to ask you.
I can't wait.
I wanted to ask you a question because I've never been to the Academy Awards. I've been to the Grammys like 4 times. But what happens in the breaks? Because, you know know that there's these long commercial breaks. So what is happening? You're down there in the first and second. You're in the second row, and you're right there.
Everybody's talking.
Is that what it is?
Everybody's talking. People are moving around. Some people want to get out to go to the bathroom. Some people are coming back in that have been out there because they were in the bar or whatever. And there's just everybody's moving and everybody's talking, and then they got to get everybody to sit back down again.
So what did you get to eavesdrop on while they were all talking around you? All these heavy duty stars.
You know, nothing.
Yeah.
Honestly, nothing. I found that I was, you know, if it was kind of, I'm going to say our parties, you know, we would have been a lot more crazy. We would have been more like Rami, who ended up getting a magnum of champagne at the engraving desk and just, you know, and blasting everybody with champagne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I found people very staid. Like when I first walked in, I was so impressed. I looked back and I recognized this girl, and I go, who is she? Look, I know her. And then I realized it's Khaleesi from Game of Thrones.
Oh, my God.
And she's sitting like 2 rows behind me. And they're just sitting there. Jennifer Lopez and her fiancé, soon-to-be husband, they didn't even talk to each other all night.
Really?
You know, she was on her cell phone. Bradley Cooper was talking to his Italian mother most of the night. Real sweet, you know. Viggo Mortensen and his wife were very affectionate. They were but mostly, you know, I don't think there was a lot of talk about anything. I didn't realize that what's her name, Rachel Reese, was married to Daniel Craig. And so they were together, and
I saw them together.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I didn't know they were married either.
Yeah, they've been married since 2014, I think.
So, I mean, the eyes of the world are on them, of course, so they have to be very careful because everyone, who knows what. I guess they don't allow you to use cell phones, right? Do they not allow you? Because you said people.
Our cell phones were gone. They take your cell phones.
So you said someone was on their cell phone talking, but obviously Jennifer.
That was Jennifer Lopez.
And she's allowed to have her cell phone, right?
They're allowed.
They're allowed. Okay. Wow.
Not guests of the cousin.
God, and so the party you went to the night before, tell me about that, because I saw pictures of it and it looked pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was neat. It's just all the people that worked for it and set things up, and the supporters of people that worked the Oscars. It was just beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful. And,
you've
and then listening to people.
Well, because you've been in the business, and I grew up in Hollywood, right? I grew up in Beverly Hills and Hollywood and all that stuff. But for people, I mean, you don't understand the realm of what you're dealing with down there. The people, the money they spend on their clothes, the money they spend on their jewelry. There's so much at stake. I mean, I knew Glenn Close's sister. I still do. I mean, because I went and started a radio station with her in West Hollywood years ago.
Oh,
and
wow.
so I mean, but you see that level, and I don't think people realize that what you're dealing with is a different kind of consciousness with some of these people. So when you see someone who's friendly and real, like you say Rami was, it's really refreshing, right? Because a lot of them are at a higher level and they're kind of untouchable, I think.
Yeah, very, very. And Jason Momoa was really friendly. Him and who else? Samuel Jackson, unbelievable. He came up and shook my hand a couple of times. Just came up and said, "Hi, how you doing?"
So people are shaking your hand without knowing who you are or anything. They just shake your hand.
Yeah, I guess because I just have this great big smile on my face. I'm just so happy to be there.
God, that's amazing.
Just walked by me and stuck out their hand. I went, "Oh my gosh, all right." How cool is this?
That is very, very cool. That's a once in a lifetime experience, Patricia. Absolutely.
I know.
Absolutely
I really,
amazing.
And I really appreciated it. I think, maybe that's why so many people just were so receptive that they just would see my big grinning smile, and do that. I think, to appreciate those moments. Now, I'm sure many of them have been there over and over and over again, and the pressure's on because they're up for awards.
Yeah.
Which can be very pressuring.
Absolutely.
People, I mean, you've been up for awards. How many times? And,
with the
I'm
Grammys,
sure you've won some and you've lost some.
My new one, I didn't get to tell you, Peace, Music and Poems. I gave you that. That's nominated.
I love it.
That's nominated for a Nahoku Hano Hano. And we get dressed up, but it's not like going to the Academy Awards, Patricia. It's not the same thing. I mean, there's awards and there's awards, but even at the Grammys, you don't get down there in the front row. I mean, no matter how long you've been a member, etc. You have to be in a certain level to get down there. Even, this year, my friends that got Grammys, that won Grammys, they're sitting in the back, way up at the top for the actual TV performance. On the premiere, you can get down. That's before it and before the TV thing. So, no, it's quite an opportunity of a lifetime. And I had to say, I was really, really blown away that you got to be right there. That's a once-in-a-lifetime experience. That was.
Well, you know what it felt like, Cindy? When I was in Japan on the cruise ship, we got up one port, and this older woman decided she wanted to take me to the giant Buddha. So we took 3 trains.
Yes.
And as we get to the giant Buddha, all those hundreds of people are around it. She goes, "Come with me, come with me," and she brought me to this door at the back. Where she opened it, and we went inside the Buddha.
Oh, my.
There was only maybe 3 people in there. She
Wow.
said when she was in grade 4 in school, that's what they did, a school trip. And so being inside the Buddha, and I was making all these noises. So when I was sitting there looking up at this, the stage and all these people that were gathering and coming in around me with these stars and looking at the ceiling, that's what I felt like. I felt like I was in this big, giant Buddha of the entertainment industry.
That's
and
true. That's an
interesting.
The Kamakura. It's called the Kamakura Buddha. Is that?
Yeah,
something?
Kamakura. Yes, exactly.
I went there.
I'm looking at it on I've got a magnet on my fridge with it on it.
It's an amazing Buddha, and people may not know it's the largest outdoor Buddha in the world. Originally, hundreds of years ago, it was indoors. The outdoor structure burnt down. It's outdoors. I walked up to it, and one of the most amazing experiences of my life happened at that Buddha. The cicadas, that loud buzz was going on because it was that season. And I walked right to the foot of that Buddha, and I looked up at the Buddha, and I swear I was like in a trance, and I saw, how the Buddha's eyes are kind of looking down? I actually saw the Buddha's eyes looking into mine. There's no Buddha's eyes in that Buddha, but I saw the Buddha looking right at me, and I was like transfixed. It was like I had an enlightenment experience right at that Buddha. It's a very, very powerful Buddha. And I'll never forget that. No, I felt like this energy was coming from that Buddha. It's amazing. So to be able to be inside that Buddha is absolutely mind-blowing. That's pretty awesome.
Well, if you ever go back, you follow along, like you're looking at the Buddha, you follow along the right side, and about 3/4 of the way to the back, you'll see a set of stairs. You just go down the stairs and go in this little door.
But you was open to the public, and people didn't know it?
Well, I guess so.
Just-
She had gone when she was a school child. There was only 3 people in there.
Yeah.
In the whole Buddha, and you can climb upstairs. And I was toning, of course. I wanted to hear what vibrations were zooming off. But
maybe it was a person staring down to me, and I thought it was Buddha, because I didn't realize you could go inside the Buddha.
Well, the Buddha's eyes are so big, I think it would have to be their heads.
It would have to be
the
eyeballs. So this coming trip, you're doing actually 2. You're doing the first one is going to be the Melissa Etheridge one, and that's out of is that out of Spain as well, or where does that leave from?
That's out of Tampa. We're leaving out of Tampa.
Oh, okay.
And we're going to, down through Mexico, Cozumel, which I really like.
Yeah.
Go to Tulum and all those places. And then I think we go around to Aruba. I think for that tour, we're staying pretty close to shore. Mm-hmm. And then we come in. Then the next one is down to Aruba around. And then we go to Bermuda, which I've never been before. We go up to New York. I get to meet with my people from the Soulmates. And then we cross over. We do 14 days crossing. So it's 6 days actual crossing. And then we go to Cobb, Ireland, Cork Island, and France.
Oh, I want to go back to Ireland.
Amsterdam.
How wonderful. You get to go to
Then
Cork.
we spent a whole itinerary going around Ireland a couple times. Ireland, Scotland, England.
Oh, I want to do that. I want to do that one.
Oh, yeah.
So what are you going to do for St. Patrick's Day this Sunday?
I've got a friend of mine, an old school friend from grade school, is going to be playing at one of the local pubs, not too far from my house. So I'm going to dress in green, and I'm going to go down, and I said and just sing crazy Irish songs with Sudbury people.
So what's your favorite Irish song that you'll be singing?
Oh my gosh, let's see. I like "Oh Danny Boy," of course.
Oh Danny Boy.
I like the Unicorn Song.
I don't know the Unicorn song. I don't know that.
The Whistling Gypsy. The Whistling Gypsy came over the hill.
I don't know that one.
That one.
I don't know that.
And
I know.
What's your favorite? McNamara's band. What's your favorite?
I like When Irish Eyes Are Smiling. I like Danny Boy. I love Irish music that's kind of folk music, that's instrumentals, a lot of them that don't have words. But I just love listening to Irish music because there's a certain joy in Irish music that and a certain soul. When you hear the flute, the penny whistle, and the way it's played, it truly sings of that era of Ireland and a lot of the mystic energy that you find in the west coast of Ireland. And it goes way, way back, And the Irish love their music, they do. And in any of the pubs you go in, my gosh, it's amazing. You've been to the pubs on Dublin, right?
Oh, yeah, I do. And I really love the Guinness.
I didn't go there. I didn't get there.
I had to go to the Guinness factory just to buy my son's the T-shirts, or the T-shirts, wallets, the beer. Oh, it was very, very great. They got a great restaurant in it. But, yeah, the pubs there. I went to the hotel, too, where the Hotel Bono owns.
Yes, they sold it, I think. But I heard about it.
He sold it recently?
Yeah, I think it was 2 years ago. But now there is a castle that Adam Clayton bought, I forget, it's outside of Cork, I think somewhere, but where they used it, he actually used it for the recording studio. I think it was one of the big albums, and then he liked it so much he bought it. But I don't think they own, I think maybe they keep their name on, but they don't think they own the, what was it, Clayton Hotel?
Yeah.
No, not Clayton, it had another name. But,
Clayton.
Yeah, we only have like a minute left, and I have to thank you so much. I was expecting another caller, something happened, and don't know why they didn't get a call in, but they didn't. But you're always so fun to talk to, and like I say, you're a people person and you're a music person, it just amazes me, the adventure that you have in your life, because you're so open to everything good coming your way.
Oh, thank you very much, and I hope you get to play one of my songs sometime, either Holly Wahini or Maui Man or Magic Hour, one of those crazy ones.
I've got to find it. It's been so many years. I had the original, but it's so many years, and I love your music. Yeah.
But I miss Maui, I'll tell you. I mean, that's still my home of choice. So,
yeah.
Be back after this, come home and make sure everything's okay, and then head out, go and see everybody. I got 2 sons there, and my granddaughter and my daughter-in-law. So. Well,
people can see you have amazing adventures and great posts on Facebook, and people can check out that. And it's always fun talking to you, and I hope you can come in the studio next time. We can talk in person. But thanks so much for calling in.
Okay, God bless. Aloha. Say hi to those ducks in the pond for me.
I will.
Go walking.
Okay, God bless. Take care.
Aloha.
Aloha.